Hi there, I'm Trevor Schutz, and today we'll be looking over different types of fog. So, what causes fog? At the base of all fog is air being cooled to a saturation point, and what that means is um, warm air can hold more water or moisture than cold air can. So, there comes a point when the air becomes too cold to hold the amount of moisture that's in the air, and that's what causes visible moisture, which is clouds or fog. So first thing is radiation fog. Radiation fog is arguably one of the most common types of fog. It happens over large flat areas like an airport, a farm field, anything like that, on calm, clear nights. And what happens is the ground cools very rapidly right after dark and throughout the night, and the air close to the ground is subsequently cooled to its saturation point, forming a layer of fog, which can be various levels of thickness and intensity. However, it's easily burned off by the sun or a light breeze when the sun comes up in the morning. So, if you see fog on the airfield, like early summer morning or in the fall or any season, that's most likely radiation fog. And if you want to fly VFR, just wait till the sun comes up or a light breeze to come up, and you should be good to fly VFR. Steam fog happens over bodies of water, so this could be a river, a pond, a lake, even the ocean, possibly. Um, and when the water is relatively warmer than the air, and the warmer air coming off of the water is then cooled in the air above it rapidly, and this causes steam or just very low fog. And this can be observed in a household kitchen when you're boiling a pot of water. You see like all the steam coming up. It's essentially the very hot air coming off of the boiling water coming into the room temperature air, and it's being cooled to its saturation point rapidly. Advection fog is basically a mass of warm air being blown over a colder surface. This routinely happens over a shoreline. Um, it can be called like land fog or sea fog in like the coastal areas. And what happens is cold air off the ocean gets blown um, to land, and then or excuse me, warm air being blown off land over the colder water, and the warm air is then cooled to saturation and causes thick fog over the ocean, and vice versa. Warm air from the ocean gets blown over colder land, and then that also will cause very thick fog. Um, this one can last a lot longer than radiation fog can. It requires wind to form, but wind can also dissipate it. Upslope fog is pretty easy to understand. It's basically just wind blowing blowing air up the side of a mountain, and then if the atmosphere is normal that day, you will experience a temperature drop the higher you go up in altitude. So sooner or later, the farther the air goes up, it's going to reach its saturation point, um, which could be on the side of the mountain as in the picture. And then once it reaches that specific spot at the side of the mountain, very thick fog forms, and it can last for a long time. Ice fog is basically like radiation fog, but it happens at below freezing temperatures. So below freezing, the water droplets become super cooled and without condensation nuclei. They can also be ice crystals, but it's just a very cold version of radiation fog, and it can happen anywhere from 0 degrees Fahrenheit, or excuse me, 32 degrees Fahrenheit, 0 degrees Celsius, all the way down to around like negative 25 degrees Fahrenheit. So pretty cold. Precipitation-induced fog. This is basically when warm rain falls into colder air, and then the moisture from the rain just causes the air to become more saturated. That coupled with the colder temperatures forms fog. The last type is called frontal fog, and it's like precipitation-induced fog, except it's associated with a front, like a frontal change. The warmer air from the front falls into a colder air mass, which causes the fog because of the moist air and the being cooled to saturation. That's about all I have. There's my references. Thank you for watching. Have a great night.